and welcome to another video. My name's Mark, I'm an entrepreneur and property investor. In this video, we're going a little bit freestyle. We're going to be talking about not underestimating the value of hard work. And for me, that's probably been one of the biggest contributing factors to my success. That and delaying gratification, being willing to invest the spread. And we'll talk about both in a bit of a freestyle environment today. Today's Mentoring Monday. I wanted to get a bit of stuff off my chest and just talk about how, for me, working hard has actually been instrumental in me growing my wealth. Now, the first thing to mention, in my experience, if you're going to create a spread between income and expenses, then you need to either cut those expenses down or you need to increase your income. And for a lot of people, working hard, whether it's in their existing job or taking on a side hustle, creating a side business, whatever it might be, will be almost essential to try and create that spread. So for me, I'm thinking about my spread at the moment between my income and my expenses, and I currently have a spread of somewhere around £10,000 a month after the tax, after everything else, that I can spend on investing. Now that's a huge amount. It really allows me to grow my portfolio, both on stocks and shares and funds, and my property portfolio really, really quickly. But it wasn't always like that. When I was first starting my business, the spread was much, much lower. I was still working incredibly hard. I was still working 6-7 days a week. I was doing 16 hours a day, but the spread was only maybe 1 or 2K per month. Even so, with £1,000 or £2,000 a month, I was able to build the foundations of my wealth very, very quickly. I was able to buy property 1, buy property 2, refinance those, invest in stocks and shares, build up my portfolio. Because at least with £1,000 to £2,000 a month, you've got some capital to start deploying. So I don't want anybody watching this to underestimate the value of working hard, especially when you're young. Now, I understand there is a balancing act to be had here. There's two thought processes. Number one, what if you die tomorrow? You'll have worked for nothing. I get it, I understand that. Statistically, that's unlikely for me at my age. The second thought process is, why not work incredibly hard today for a brighter future? And I think it was Jim Rohn who said something like, going to work to pay your bills is incredibly depressing, but going to work to build your fortune, now that's something I can get behind. Now for me, I was always going to work to build my fortune. And with that in mind, I had no issue with working extra hard in order to create this spread, which then allowed me to do more. Now, a good example would be Nick, my cameraman, my videographer behind the film right now. Now, Nick has just texted me yesterday. He's got himself a little gig tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Friday. Yeah. On Friday, where he's going to be going and doing a shoot for someone, he's charging them £400. He wants to take a day's holiday off with me in order to go make another £400 there. Makes perfect sense, right? He's looking to create a spread of around £2,000 a month. He knows that if he does that for a few years, it doesn't take long for the wealth to just become unstoppable, for that snowball to start growing. As soon as you start to get that 10, 20, 50, 100, 150, 200,000, those sort of amounts of money start generating more than you can spend very, very quickly, and the snowball just takes over. If you invest £1,000 a month in index funds, so in 25 years you've got 1.3 million. There's no reason that somebody in their 20s watching this shouldn't be a millionaire in their 40s. And I actually think this is just as useful later on in life as it is early on in life. I think no matter what your age is, if you can just take that side hustle, if you can just take that part-time extra work, if you can get promoted at work, if you can start that business, if there's something you can do to increase your income and create this spread, then you should. I mean, Nick, if he's going to do £2,000 a month, he's pretty much guaranteed £2 million by the time he's just a little bit older than myself. Now, there's a lot he can do in between then and now to massively exceed that. That's just using one investment class, index funds, 10% return. That's very, very basic. There is so much more that he can do, so much more that he can achieve. He can leverage up, he can use property. There's lots of other deals he can do. I'm confident that by the time he's my age, he'll be far further on than I am, because he's starting so much younger. He's only 21 years old. There's no reason by the time he's my age, with enough capital behind him, he wouldn't have grown a massive portfolio. So guys, I don't want anyone to underestimate the value of working hard. Most of the people that I know that are incredibly wealthy have at some point in their life had to put in their time. Now, I understand that you can go out and borrow lots of money from lots of different people, but that only works as long as A, you have the gravitas, B, you can attract those sort of investors investors, and that comes back to the gravitas, I guess. But beyond that, as long as the market's going in your favor, if the market turns against you, no matter how seasoned you are, no matter how much gravitas you have, you can get into a lot of trouble very quickly. I'll give you a good example. I know a chap who borrowed the best part of 250,000 of private investors. He put about 50,000 of his own money into a residential property development. Now the end value, he'd got that slightly wrong. The build costs, he'd got that slightly wrong. In essence, once the project had all completed, he still owed his private investors £50,000. All his 50,000 had gone, he still owed them money, and the building was being sold off. He eventually went bankrupt. What a terrible outcome, considering he had stacked this deal up very carefully. And when you're dealing with 100% leverage or close to 100% leverage, these things can happen very, very easily. And I just would hate for anyone to think that you should start doing those sort of things until you've got capital behind you. Once you've got a bit of capital behind you and you can step in and go, you know what, I can absorb a £50,000 loss, then that's the sort of deal that you should be doing. Until you can absorb that sort of loss, you should be staying clear of that. There's a well-known saying, right? It's walk before you can run. Now, I think the actual saying should be just walk. Just keep walking. But as you get bigger, your strides will get bigger. And people will be surprised at how big your strides become as your wealth increases. So something that feels quite small to me might feel very big to someone else. And something that looks small to someone else might feel big to me. I still think doing a deal in the millions is very big to me. I've only got a net worth single figure millions. So for me to do a multi-million pound deal is very, very big, very, very risky, which is why I tend to stay at sub £500,000 kind of deal size. But I'm still working incredibly hard. Nick, what do you think? Do I work hard?
Yeah, man, definitely.
And I'm already quite a long way into my journey, and I don't think anybody should underestimate the value of working hard. Guys, I hope this video, a bit of a rant, I know, and I apologize about that, but I did want to get across the point that if you can create this spread, if you can do that extra work, you can guarantee yourself a result. You don't have to do lots of complicated stuff. You just have to work hard, get that money in, use the capital in the best way that you possibly can. Don't increase your lifestyle until the passive income can pay for it. There's a reason we have a passive income sign. There's a reason we have a work hard, stay humble sign. These things resonate with me, and real wealth, it doesn't burn. You can build up these things. We make sure we don't have it all in cash. We make sure that it's in index funds. We make sure that it's in property. We make sure it's in assets that increase in value over time. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon.